joyful giving. If we try, we shall see. In this bliss we cannot feel. Hear or drink, we stop existing and start living. Then it feels that always love's enough for us growing. Make a better world, make a better world. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for living, make a better place for you and for me. And the dream we were conceived in will reveal a joyful face. And the one we once believed in will shine again in grace. Then why do we keep strangling when this earth crucify its soul? Though it's plain to see this world is heavenly. Be God's love. We could fly so high, let our spirits never die. In my heart, I feel you are all my brothers. Create a world with no fear. Together we'll cry happy tears. So the nations turn their swords into plowshares. We could really get there if you cared enough for the living. Make a little space to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for living, make a better place for you and for me. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for living, make a better place for you and for me. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for living, make a better place for you and for me. There are people dying. If you care enough for living, make a better place for you and for me. There are people dying. If you care enough for living, make a better place for you and for me. You and for me, you and for me, you and for me, you and for me. Where we live for me, for our children, for me. Where we live for me, for our children, for me. Where we live for me, for our children, for me. The world we live for me, for our children.
Desiree, can you hear me now? She still
Yes, I
can.
can hear you now, so it's working perfectly. You want me to play the second song for you?
Yes, please. Thank you. We were having technical problems here. I couldn't come through the audio. Praise God.
Good morning or evening, friends. Here's your friendly announcer.
would mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hey, go on round, waking many hearts. Stop, please, before it's gone too far. The force of evil plan to make you its possession, and it will if we let it destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If love and peace you treasure, then you'll hear me when I say, oh, oh, that love in need of love
Just give the world love. Good morning. Good morning. Grand Rising and happy Sunday. I am so glad that you chose to join me this morning in this sacred space. This sacred space for seekers of truth, healing, renewal, and transformation. We open our collective hearts, our minds, and souls to the divine presence of God and love as we honor and celebrate the miracle of life and each other. Welcome. Welcome to Spirit Rising, a collaboratory of spiritual companions, a sacred fellowship, the experimentation of thought, word, feeling, until there is an utter yielding of flow of blessings, grace, healing, and revelation. Welcome to this circle of love. Welcome to the magic of Spirit Rising, the salon for the soul. Good morning. Good morning. Aaron, good morning. How are you this morning? Good morning, Carolyn. Oh, you have on that broad purple. I love that color. Oh, it's so beautiful. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Desiree again. Good morning, Rebecca. Good to see you. Rebecca says, I'm not working today. I'm home. Oh, how great to have you in the house, daughter. How great it is. Sally, did I say hello to you? Good morning. Good morning. So let us settle in. Let us settle in wherever we are right now, getting very comfortable and attuning within. Focus your attention on the divine presence, the spiritual presence that is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. Now, if you like, take a few deep breaths and put your hand over your heart. We turn within to the inner sanctuary, far greater within than anything in our outer world. We take this moment to center ourselves and sense the expansive, unlimited potential of life. This self-supporting, self-promoting universe is always giving of itself, ever becoming more and more of itself in, as, and through each of us. This life source beats our hearts, it breathes our breaths, and it prays this prayer: God and more God, joy and more joy, peace and more peace, abundance and more abundance, love and more love. I release these words into the divine law that always says yes. Amen. Ashe. And so it is. And so it is. Now it's time for us to kind of check in with each other. We haven't seen each other, some of us, for a week or so now. And I remember, I think it was Stacy that pointed out that we check our cell phones 2,000 times a day. So as we sit here now, let us check in with our mind, our body, and soul, and be present to whatever is emerging within. And let's check in and share how you're arriving this morning. What's on your hearts? What's on your mind? What's going on in your bodies? Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am in a fine type of mood today, so I have no answers as to why that's happening, but yeah, because I'm headed to work for a open house. But I just feel in a productive kind of mood. So yeah.
Productive.
It's also good to hear your voice. To be in a space where I'm supposed to be on a Sunday morning with my soul sisters and copping on some knowledge and some wisdoms. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's always good to have you in this space and hear your voice, even if I can't see your beautiful face.
I'm getting dressed right now. That's why my camera's not on.
I understand. Now that I understand. It's like when I look up and Rebecca's in the sauna somewhere, and I'm like, girl, what are you doing?
That's where I'm going right now.
How are you arriving? How are you arriving this morning, Rebecca?
On my way to the hot tub. That's how I'm arriving.
I understand.
I've been wanting to get in this hot tub for weeks, but my travel schedule and all the things. But Brother Curtis just finished resetting everything and cleaning it out and changing the water and doing all the good stuff. I'm gonna get my thing of ice water. I get my soul together while I soak in the hot tub. I mean, like, who can argue with such a beautiful day?
No one.
I am eternally grateful for these moments in life. I appreciate the sweetness of this moment. So I'm arriving in life's sweetness. Last Sunday, I was at the National Museum of Peace and Justice, National Legacy Museum of Peace and Justice, which is in shorthand known as the Lynching Museum. And I was there with a group of clients, and it was a very different Sunday. A very different Sunday as I took in more than 4,500 names of Black people who were terrorized to death. And I sat with that. And I called out their names and said, we speak your names. And walk and find one of the pillars, and on this pillar, there would be so many names, 20, 30 Black people killed in the same small town on the same day behind some foolishness. And I remembered that earlier in the summer, this past summer, when we were in Nigeria and Ghana, when we were in the slave dungeons, I remember being so overcome in those dungeons and at the door of no return. And the people asking me to say something, and all I had was tears and heartbreak, you know. And Sweet Honey in the Rock song came to me, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. And so in those slave dungeons, I'm singing, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. And I'm making a promise to my ancestors that this life will do all that it can to bring love where there has been hate, to make right what has hurt, to heal what is hurt. And I felt that same sense when I was in Montgomery last Sunday for those who had been slaughtered. Again, that commitment. We who believe in freedom will not rest. So I'm struck by that. I didn't know that this is where I was going to go, but you know, this is what's on my spirit. So it, you know, and now I'm in the sweetness of this moment. And I'm living that. Me, the descendant, is living that. And I'll say one other thing. Before we left Ghana, on the day we left Ghana, the girls and I got up super early so we could watch the sunrise over the Atlantic Ocean. And when you're at the National Legacy Museum, part of what they say, the very first exhibit is an underwater exhibit with the bones and the masks of those who died crossing the Atlantic. And the waves, they had the sound of the waves and a wall of waves, and just the tears began to flow. And they're what has been corroborated in terms of numbers, which means that it is an undercount. You hear me? Is that 12 million were taken, kidnapped. And of those 12 million, at least 2 million died at sea. Right? There's a whole country of bones on the bottom of the Atlantic. So we raced and got up before the sunrise so we could watch the sunrise over the Atlantic, and standing on its shores, a prayer came to me, a prayer of blessing all who were stolen and kidnapped and taken, and who lost their lives and didn't make it across the ocean, but are there on the ocean's floor, and blessing those who made it to what we would call this sort of Western world. They made it to the other side, but they never returned home. All those lineages of my people who would never, ever come back to Africa. And then blessing all of those who went over and who, like us, managed, it's taken us 400 years, but managed to come home. Changed, but alive. And doing work to transform our world into a more love-based dimension. And I was reminded of that prayer last Sunday because I was with those who would never return, not in flesh and bone. And so, we who believe in freedom commit to liberation and love. And the hot tub, by the way, right? Because that's a part of the sweetness of life, is to not just be in the struggle, but I can take some of this sweetness and some of this enjoyment as my birthright. So that's how I'm doing today. Thanks for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. Just to think about all those 2 million, approximately 2 million, that died at sea, and all those who never returned home. It just saddens my heart. What is going on, what has happened, and what is going on now. So we who believe in freedom can never rest. Thank you, daughter, for being such a spiritual guide and healer. Thank you. Thank you. How are you arriving this morning? Anyone else like to share? Well, I'm arriving in deep, humble gratitude and honoring the privilege of being in this circle of love and having such brilliant, beautiful women in my life that are journeying with me as we go along the way. I'm so grateful. Good morning, Eileen. We're just checking in. So anything that is arising in your heart, whatever your body, your soul, whatever you're present with at this time, we would love for you to share. I invite any of you that have not shared to please come off mute and do so.
I'm happy to check in. Thank you. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Just really sweet to be here. I notice, I've been noticing when I come into this space, it's like something just opens in my heart. I feel like I touch the well kind of life. And so I feel really grateful for that. And thank you for all of you for being here and letting me be here. I am arriving in that kind of the well, which feels, like a little, there's emotion right here. And I feel gratitude. I got to go for a run this morning and just be in the beauty of the day already. And one of the things that's with me is I actually saw them yesterday too. There were 2 hawks really circling. Yeah, just really beautiful medicine for me. So I'm kind of coming with that, the medicine of hawk. And the way that they kind of like, yesterday I was just watching them like go higher and higher and higher, but then they would sort of like, boom, come back down. That dance of like descent and then ascent. Anyway, and I saw them again today, and just feeling sweetness of the sun and of being alive. I'm coming with some like, I just feel really grateful to be alive. Yeah. That's how I'm arriving.
Thank you, Erin. Always grateful for the miracle of life. Always. I love birds, and my brother, for some reason, hawks hover around his backyard and are in that area behind his house, and we get to sit and watch them, as you say, as they soar and ascend into the sky, and then just take a nosedive. It is just so amazing. And their wingspan, it's amazing. Thank you for sharing, daughter. We're always happy to have you in this space. Thank you. Namaste. Anyone else? How are you riding this morning?
Hello, Soul Family. So glad to be here. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
I seek to share something of my experience. It's a bit hard to put into words. In short, I'm healing at this time, and I'm learning through this program called Primal Trust how to bring safety into my body and unwind my nervous system. And I'm starting to appreciate that the terror of my childhood has continued in my body, and that I've recycled those feelings by my relationship to chronic pain, and by my chronic fear of chronic pain. And what's happening is I'm actually kind of defrosting, unthawing this chronic stress in my system as I'm experiencing a new range of feelings. And I'm like, oh, this is what healing's like. And I'm experiencing a lot of vulnerability and sadness for what I was raised in, and hopefulness. And I feel really hopeful, and I feel also like a certain sense of awakening, that I'm awakening to the fact that that was the past, and in the future I get to be well, and from here on I get to be well. And I feel a lot of love for myself, and I'm spending quite a bit of time with other people that have lived in chronic pain, and through this program, and it's really helping me to love and respect myself. Yeah, and I'm happy, and I'm feeling well supported to be well, and very much like someone going through the 12 steps. I'm like celebrating every day that I can make it through, and be well, and stay well, and keep on in the practices, and in the practices of thinking that generate wellness. And so, yeah, I once knew abstractly that perhaps pain wasn't my enemy, but actually the portal to being who I most desire to be. But I didn't know the tools to make it through that portal, and I'm learning them now, and it's scary, and it's really good. It's really good. So thank you, friends, for receiving my journey.
Thank you, Carolyn, for sharing. Yes, and it can be sad, that inner child, the wounding of that inner child, and yet the hope on the other side that you're awakening to being well and happy and well supported. Thank you for sharing. We are so happy that you could be with us this morning. Thank you. Anyone else like to share? Well, I'm going to get into the offering for today. And preparing for this was a little difficult because, sometimes spirit just doesn't seem to reveal itself to me and where it wants me to go. And I was struggling, and I turned to many resources, and one of which was this book that Rebecca recommended to us. grounded, a fierce feminine guide to connecting with the soil and healing from the ground up by Aaron McMorrow, Dr. Aaron McMorrow. And in this book, Dr. Morrow writes that the universe is alive, benevolent, and co-creative, and nature is always speaking to us as we are part of her. And then further on into the introduction, on page 7, and I have it somewhere here, she writes, and I'm just going to read it straight from the book. My job in this moment, as part of the collective ecosystem, is to firmly and boldly anchor the truth wherever I stand. Humanity is moving through a metamorphic awakening of consciousness, and teams of light bearers are assembling to help guide the process. As we pass into this collective birth, we also move through a collective death. Patriarchal systems and ways of being are crumbling and collapsing all around us. And what has been built atop centuries of lies can no longer stand. Without the structural integrity of a healthy root system, our castles are built on sand. The resonant voice of nature herself and all of us as a part of her is rising up in love. And the force is unstoppable. Consciousness itself is being reborn as the universe continues to align, breathe, recognize, and make love with itself. Love is in need of love today. And so she quotes T.S. Eliot, Dr. Morrow does in her book, who wrote, "What we call the beginning is often the end. And to make an end is to make a beginning. The end is where we start from." As the old patriarchal systems of oppression and capitalism, ways of being, are coming to an end, we as light bearers must say yes to Spirit's calling. In the process of learning how to co-create with nature, to co-create with Spirit, there will be setbacks, which are always redirections, gifts to begin again. Let us begin again. Let us begin with the Buddhist mind, concept of a Buddhist mind, to be open, willing, receptive to learn, no matter what you already think you know about anything or what you think you know about everything. And that's a real challenge for me, being the young age that I am, letting go of all the old ways of being and thinking that I was right and that I knew, and coming into an awareness that I know nothing. I know nothing. Let us be willing to let go of all preferences, let go of all judgments and criticism in order to contemplate something new. I love it that Carolyn is in this healing group. Something new, something, a door open for her, something that she could never have imagined. It takes a open mind, a receptive heart to be able to step into a paradigm, a new paradigm. As we shift in our perceptions of the world, our illusory world, we are finding our way home within ourselves. We are finding a way home, an awakening, as Carolyn called it. And remembering that we are incarnated for such a time as this, that we are purpose to collectively love and heal the planet. We are agents of transformation. The creative life force of the universe flows within us and through us. The way home is to remember who we are and step back into our innate power as creative and sovereign beings. Eileen, your hand is up. Would you like this time?
Oh no, you can continue, Mama Urania. I didn't want to interrupt. I just wanted to be able to speak after you were done.
Oh, all right, dear. Well, if it's pressing, you may speak now.
Oh, I was just feeling like this message feels really timely, of course, as per usual. Because I've been feeling really weary lately and finding myself falling into kind of old stress loops and seeking homeostasis and longing to be in nature as much as I can, but also feeling the pull of needing to attend to human tasks. And so listening to this excerpt that you're sharing about the change that and the energy that we're moving through as a civilized, as a society, it kind of gives me a framework, I guess, to lean on. And yeah, so I think Sally has her mic on.
Sally, can you mute yourself, Sally? Thank you. Go ahead, Eileen. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, and I was trying to figure out how I could meet my needs of being with the earth, but also listen to the message today on Zoom, and I may need to take off early, and hopefully like I'll be able to watch the rest of it at a later point. But yeah, I just wanted to check in and let you know how much this is resonating with what my body, mind, and heart are needing to hear. And I miss you.
I miss you too. We miss you, yes. And I'm so glad that you shared before you had to leave. And I'm so glad the Spirit opened me up and said, right now, let's do this right now. Because what you shared affirmed my offering today. I wanted to do something on homeostasis. I really did. I just couldn't pull it all off like I wanted to. And this seemed to be the easier route. But now I know Spirit is always calling. And so I'm thankful that this is resonating with you. In this book, Grounded, Dr. Morrow writes, and I quote, "The systems of destruction and oppression don't stand a chance against the collective power of eternal light, love, and the life force within each of us. Daughters, we can heal this planet collectively. We can heal each other and we can heal this planet. Thoughts shared are strengthened." Michael writes, "Come visit Michael and I on the farm." Yes, I need to do that soon. I need to do that soon. Life, the collective power of eternal light, love, and life force within us will heal the planet. Now, this can be hard to accept and believe when we feel our sense of worthiness is being daunted by external conditions, a divorce, a loss of employment, death of a loved one, health issues, financial setbacks, personal shame, perceived failure, war, poverty. But even in our darkest, lowest points of our lives, we can take our power back. We can take our power back. I invite you to take a sacred pause and choose one thing you are going to take back. It may be something you can get back today, or it may take years. You may want to reclaim, like me, your rest and commit to good sleep, good hygiene, good sleep hygiene. You may want to reclaim your education and go back to school. What is it that you want to reclaim and take your power back? Think for a second and then share with us what it is that you want to reclaim and take back your power.
Thank you for this question, Mama.
You're welcome, babe.
It is timely. And this teaching is timely. My answer is I want to take back my love of and delight in my body without critique. I'm like, oh my goodness, so much of my, I'm going to use this sort of colonized mind language, it's just conditioned, is to critique first. And that was a learned way of being. That is not, I do not believe that, sweetie pie, pick that up and put it on the table so that no bugs crawl in it. It is not, I don't believe it was my indigenous state of mind. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't remember what I was like so much as a super young one, but I've had children and I know how much they are fascinated by like their toes and their nose and your toes and your stomach and your face and right. And there's just delight. And even where there might not necessarily be delight, there's just curiosity. And somehow my curiosity got hijacked And in place of my curiosity came critique. And my body's like extraordinary. It is extraordinary. I delight in its power when I'm on the I had new virtual reality fitness app. Oh my gosh. It reminds me of when I was younger and I would go for a run and just to feel like the life force, my own like agency and a sense of power from the inside out, not power from position or influence or any of that. And then the appreciation for all my curves, they've multiplied as I've gotten older. Go forth and multiply. And so my curves have taken this literally and multiplied, you know? Okay. But, you know, my husband said to me the other day, he said, you know, you look like those ancient statues and sculptures that people all around the world used to pray to. I just love his frame of reference, right? It wasn't like what I'm not, you know? He was like, this here form is for temple worship, don't you know? I appreciate that. And I have delighted in my body before without trying to make it be something that it's not. And so, having completed 7 cycles of 7, I feel like it's just, you know, time to come back to an earlier consciousness. And part of that delight means not engaging in practices of self-harm. And my form of self-harm might look like a basket of fries, by the way. So, perspective here. Or not getting enough rest. I'm pretty good at driving myself to accomplish, fill in the blank, whatever it is I'm accomplishing. I stay hydrated, but, you know, I think rest and I eat well much of the time, but I could do that even more. And I delight in moving. And so much of my work day is fairly sedentary. So, and my hips and my knees feel that, right? So just more movement. And then, of course, less critique, just appreciation. Appreciation for my function. I have no illnesses. No, you know. Yeah. I'm hearty. I come from healthy stock. The hearty salt of the earth. You know, I'm a low squat woman. And that is like, yes, my center of gravity is close to the center of gravity. You know, anywho, I'm gonna stop here, but I'm really coming back to this just self-love and appreciation as I continue to change and age and appreciation, just a practice of appreciation and honoring, appreciation and honoring what is, and much less of that, you know, make believe about what it should be. Because that's just a fiction. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you for sharing. You know, I have all these body issues, especially after losing, even though I'm very proud of losing 100 pounds, I'm flabby. And now with the lack of mobility with the hip, I'm just looking and wondering, oh God. So I want to reclaim my physicality and get this hip replaced and get back into the gym and kind of firm up what I can firm up at this stage. You said 7 times 7 around revolutions. Well, I think I'm like 7 times 12 around and plus. So yeah, I'm thankful for this body unapologetically because it is amazing. The body is remarkably and wonderfully made. Thank you, daughter. Thank you. Anybody else? What are you reclaiming? Are you reclaiming a, a relationship with lost friends or intimacy? Um, and just to put a pin there. Carolyn, go ahead, babe.
Can you hear me well?
Try it again.
Yeah.
There you go. We were
Can you hear
hearing,
me well here?
yes, we can.
I will just say I am reclaiming pleasure, and I'm learning how much that is vital to healing pain. And just spending time each day noticing the absolute joy of being in my body, especially the sun on my body, or laying on the earth, or beauty entering my eyes, or caressing my skin, delicious food. I'm just reclaiming my right to pleasure and being in pleasure in my body.
I love that. I love that. That's one of the things that Delisha always talks about, being in pleasure, being in pleasure. Good morning, Tamira. Welcome, welcome. Glad you could be here with us. We're talking about taking our power back. How, you know, this life, it can be hard to accept and believe that we have the collective power, the individual power to love and heal and transform this planet and our lives. So welcome, welcome. How are you going to reclaim and take your power back? What is it that you need to take back?
Tamira has her hand up, Mom.
She has what, dear? Oh, hi. I'm looking in the chat. Thank you, dear. Tamira, thank you.
Alafia, good afternoon. I'm so sorry that I was late this morning, but I'm happy I'm here and catching on to the pieces that are already just potent that I've heard so far. The question about reclaiming, I think for me, I was in something recently before this that was talking about reclaiming power. And for me, I'm wanting to reclaim my power and the power of like speaking truth to my experiences and what I know. And I want to read this bit from Audre Lorde because it just feels so deeply resonant. But that's what I'm in, is like having the courage to speak the things that I know to be true and not being concerned about how they are perceived or received, but offering them from a space of love. And then allowing myself to be rooted in community with people who see me, who know me, and who love me, so that I'm not looking to the outside for some sort of acceptance around my being and what I have to offer. That's what Audre Lorde says. I am learning to speak my pieces, to inject into the living world my convictions of what is necessary and what I think is important, without concern of the innovating kind, for whether or not it is understood, tolerated, correct, or heard before. Although, of course, being incorrect is always the hardest, but even that is becoming less important. The world will not stop if I make a mistake. And so I'm wanting to be in that. Be in that.
Thank you. What's the title of that book again, Tamir?
It is called The Cancer Journals. You
Yeah,
probably can't see it because I got the thing on Audre Lorde, The Cancer Journals.
right. It's on
But
it's on our webpage. It probably
yes,
is in our book list. I'm gonna have to buy another book. Oh my goodness, here we
so
go.
many gems in this book.
I love that even if you're wrong, sometimes I get kind of caught up because I don't want to say something because I could be wrong. But thank you, that resonated with me. Anyone else like to share before we move on? Oh, Tamir, did you just celebrate a birthday?
Oh no, it was Audre Lorde's 90th birthday. Alexis
Oh,
Pauline Gumbs. I was just in a class with her and Shegodare on the internet before I came here, but she did a whole like a tour around it and did a lot of virtual things. And she has her autobiography that's going to be coming out here very soon. The autobiography of Audre Lorde that she's been working on. But it was Audre Lorde's 90th birthday, and my birthday's like in 2 weeks. So.
because Eileen wrote in the in the chat, it was just her birthday. And then she also asked that you put that quote in the chat if you could. Thank you. Thank you. Erin, I saw you. So
Yeah, I would like to share. Yeah, when you asked the question, the first thing that kind of popped up in me was like my fierceness. Like I've been, just having a lot of memories of being a little girl and how I just like really didn't care what people thought, and just this way I showed up in the world in my voice and in my power. And then, yeah, just kind of tracking how that got really diminished, through the years, or got afraid in different ways, and then in particular, what's coming right now is like fierceness around like how much I love God. Which even as I say that, there's like a little bit of shame that comes up in me, like, yeah, like I don't know, like there's something wrong with like loving God so much, almost like in a female body. Which I don't know if that makes sense, but I grew up Roman Catholic, so there was a lot of like, well, you can love God, but like only so much, or like you have to be limited in your leadership of where that goes. So I guess for me, it's like the way I love God and believe in the kingdom of God and loving God's people with like fierceness and like boldness and yeah, and I guess there's a piece for me of like wanting to reclaim the power of my spiritual leadership, like in the way that I'm here to bring it and do it in this body and in this incarnation. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for, letting me name that.
thank you for sharing. Yeah, a love of God. It's interesting how, and I'm Baptist, and so I grew up, Jesus, 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 Jesus. And now people don't even like to use the word Jesus. And that's okay. I don't have any problem with other names for spirituality. Yeah, I can identify with that shame that you were talking about, this love for God. And not only for God, but for his children, love for each other. Yeah. And how that got diminished and, as Rebecca said, flattened in this oppressive system that we are existing in. Carolyn wrote, I hear you, Erin. I love how you love God. I often felt similar shame. Thank you. Thank you. Well, anyone else like to share before we move into the final moments of this offering. I keep getting these messages here. I am not savvy. Oh no, that's just something that was there before. Thank you. This technology intimidates me. Tamara, your hand is up, baby. Yes. No?
Oh, it's another Audre Lorde quote about speaking. And it says, "My work is to inhabit the silences with which I have lived and fill them with myself until they have the sounds of the brightest day and the loudest thunder. And then there will be no room left inside of me for what has been, except as a memory of sweetness, enhancing what can and is to be."
Mm. Inhabit the silence. Wow. And how
Read
often?
that again.
Yeah.
Slow
Yes.
down and read that again.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
we can savor.
and then put it in the quote, in the chat.
Yes,
Okay.
I will.
Thank
My
you.
work is to inhabit the silences with which I have lived and fill them with myself until they have the sounds of the brightest day and the loudest thunder. And then there will be no room left inside of me for what has been, except as memory of the sweetness enhancing what can be and is to be.
Enhancing what can be and what is to be. Oh, as a child, I was taught, be seen and not heard. Be seen and not heard. And that was an awful way to stifle the creativity and the curiosity of a child, especially me who had so many thoughts and curiosities about things that I was not able to explore or express. So thank you, Tamara. Carolyn? Carolyn, is your hand up?
Can you hear me okay, Mama?
Now try it again, baby.
Can you hear me okay?
Now, yes.
Okay, praise. Well, what a moving passage. And what happens if we all just speak the truth of our hearts and souls, right? I just think that there's no room, that oppressive society would lose its hold. And I feel that inspiration as I receive that passage. Like, gosh, the beauty of everyone speaking the truth of their hearts and the profundity of our caring for this world and in speaking our faith and speaking our love and speaking our no's to what our souls protest against. So thank you for sharing that passage. I feel deeply inspired.
That's what it's going to take. Speaking truth to power with love. With love. Thank you, Carolyn. Oh, and there it is in the chat. I don't know how to screen save, but I'll probably just buy the book. That was the first quote. So if you know how to do that screen, whatever they do, it's right there in the chat. So now, in this journey that I've been on lately, the beginning of the end or the end of the beginning, I've been asking myself, how did I get here? How did I arrive here? Not only that, but where do I want to go from here? Where do I want to go from here? What's the beginning of the end of the third chapters of my life as I move into the new fourth chapter? Hmm. Many of my conversations lately with many of my spiritual companions have been around the law of attraction and manifestation. For years, I've been reading books like The Secret, The Game of Life, and listening to Abraham Hicks, Marianne Williamson, Michael Beckwith. Just recently in the A Course in Miracles study group that I am in, we have been studying and reading about the obstacles to peace. You see, there is a universal law of attraction and manifestation that basically states that the energy of your thoughts manifests your experiences. So, positive thoughts manifest positive experiences, and negative thoughts manifest negative experiences. I was having trouble with that. I was really having trouble with that. The law of attraction is the drawing into your life what you most desire through your thoughts and allowing, creating this energy field, this vibration. But this energy field can create our reality. Really? Really? How, it's like war. I'm having trouble thinking my thoughts about war created the war in Gaza, Ukraine. And I know it's not me. It's this collective world that is thinking these things and we're experiencing them. But I've been struggling with that theory that I have chosen some of the past and present struggles of my life on this journey home. I am endeavoring to liberate my mind. At this point in my life, this fourth chapter, I want to take a deep dive into this law of attraction and manifestation. Yes, we create both the things that we want and don't want in our lives. Some of us, many of us, create by default. We don't even know, as Rebecca said, we've been conditioned to think a certain way. We've been conditioned to critique and look for negative things to complain and judge and blame. Yes, we create both the things we want and we don't want. But is it really that simple? Is it really, as a woman thinketh, so is she? Is it really as easy as change your thoughts, change your life? One day I was scrolling through YouTube and I just came across this video, The Secret to the Law of Attraction and Manifestation. The secret. What do you think the secret to the law of attraction and manifestation is? Just anybody, just house it out. What is the secret? Oh, all you great manifestors, I'm always inspired by the things that are going on in your life. Carolyn moved from St. Louis out to this nature on the land kind of center for ritual and healing, and Rebecca in this beautiful house with this sauna, and Erin doing the work that she does with Sophia Rising, all the beautiful things Sally does at school, and Tamira and her work, the rituals, ancestry work. You guys keep me encouraged. You keep me on my toes. The secret, Carolyn writes, alignment with the heart of God is the true secret. That isn't talked about in most manifest circles. You're on to it, girl. Yeah, you're on to it. Alignment with the heart of God. And then even being in alignment with your own values. I know many times I'm misaligned with my values, my behaviors, my words, my actions. I'm out of alignment. But according to this pundit, anybody else like to go on before I go into what this spiritual teacher was teaching on this video, this YouTube video? What is the secret, the true secret to aligning, or I'm sorry, to I'm gonna shut down this chat because I'm distracted. To the secret of the law of attraction and manifestation. Anybody else before Tamira, being led by desires, like that one, all of that, having that desire first and then asking for it, and then allowing it to come. Thank you, Tamira. All right. Carolyn, the other way of saying it, alignment with the passion of our souls. I like that. I like that. Listening to intuition. I like that, Eileen. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Well, oh, one more. I also feel it is alignment. God's will united with the will of our highest self. Beautiful. I agree with all of you. I agree, but according to this spiritual teacher, the secret to the law of attraction, Aaron wrote, which maybe is all God. Yeah. Uniting with our highest self. Well, yeah. That's self with capital S. Yeah. But according to this teacher, the secret is your sense of worthiness. Now that resonated with me, ladies. That really did, daughters. The sense of worthiness. Is the secret to the law of attraction, your sense of worthiness. In the old ancient scriptures, it is written, you have not because you ask not. And when you ask amiss. You do not believe. Unworthiness. That resonated with me. That resonated with me. A lot of my past decisions, my past circumstances and relationships were all built on this sense of unworthiness, not being good enough, being too this or being too that, or not feeling that I deserve this or I deserve that. Now I invite you to consider your experiences with oppression, discrimination, and stigma. Internalized oppression is when you come to believe the lies you've been told about yourself. Am I worthy of my highest thoughts about myself and my desires? Am I worthy of being in alignment with God's will for my highest good? According to Michael Beckwith, Marianne Williamson, and Abraham Hicks, when you worry and when you doubt or fear becomes the focus, this stops the creating and allowing process called vibration. Oppression won't stand a chance against the collective power of internal love and internal light that is within each of us. We can create a vibration of worry, doubt, or concern on what you desire will show up is really saying that you don't deserve what you are declaring, or you don't believe it will show up. I got lost in my notes here. Let me go back. Your vibration, your energy field. When you're creating a vibration of worry, doubt, or concern on how what you desire will show up, that is really saying that you don't deserve what you are declaring, or you don't believe it will show up. When your beliefs are limited, we attract limited desires and compromise the well-being of our lives. What is that AA slogan? Alcohol Anonymous. My stinking thinking got me here. My stinking thinking got me here. Believing all the lies about how I was too black, too fat, too short, too curvy, too old, got me here. But now I'm ready to start a new chapter in my life. I am ready to believe that anything is possible. With focus and belief, you can draw anything into your life. Anything. It may take time, may not happen overnight, but keep on believing. Just believe. The law of attraction, like all universal laws, is extremely important to understand and implement if you are to purposely and consciously attract the things into your life that you most desire. That you most desire. It was so interesting the other day. I was having car trouble, and the only day I could get into the mechanic was also a day that I had a doctor's appointment. And I was worried about how I was going to get to the mechanic, get to the doctor's appointment. But usually when I take the car to the mechanic, I get a loaner. And so I was okay. I'm going to take it on in and they'll give me a loaner. Well, when I got there, they didn't have a loaner. And I'm thinking, wow, I called my cardiologist and the nurse said if I couldn't come in 2 weeks ago, I couldn't see him again until April. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But that's the way the medical system is right now. And so I'm sitting there and I'm just thinking, and the service rep said, well, we have a shuttle. We have a shuttle. And the shuttle came, picked me up. The driver said, if you finish, my appointment was at 1:30. He said, if you finish before 3, I can come back and pick you up. Anytime after 3, I'm unavailable. Now, usually when I get to the doctor's office, I have to sit a while. And it was 1:30. It might have even been 2 o'clock. I can't really remember. But I got there, signed in. The doctor saw me right away. I called the driver. He even gave me his personal number. I called the driver, and he got me back to the car repair, and my car was ready with less charges than I had expected. And I was like, wow, positive thoughts. Positive. I didn't know how I was going to get to the cardiologist, but I got there. Not only did I get there, but I got back to the mechanic without calling someone and asking them, which I'm learning too. I'm not good at asking for help, but that's another topic for another day, which is tied into this unworthiness that I'm feeling. So, children, take a minute. This is testimony time. Share, if you will, your past manifestations that just bring you so much joy and align you with God, or what it is that you want to manifest in 2024. What is it that you want to see in your future?
Okay, Mama. I'm
Yeah,
jumping in
go
because I
ahead.
got testimony.
Go ahead, girl.
So, some years ago, I got a spiritual reading from a lady named Sandra Jackson in 2018, and she came to our old institute, our old center, and she gave a reading, and I recorded it. And she said, you know, it's time for them. God has big work for you to do in this life and in this world, and you know, all that you need will be made available, and so much more. She said it's just going to be like rivers flowing, and she said, so, and I told her at the time, like, this is how I see our institute unfolding. This is what I think we need for that. And she said, yeah, I mean, you can have that if that's what you want, but there's so much more. And she said, your challenge is that you doubt, and your doubt is like dust. It just sort of hangs on and it gets in the way. But there isn't, the universe isn't actively withholding from you. Like, this thing that you want is a part of the cosmic agenda, right? And the universe is aligned, it's conspiring to bring forth this agenda through you, and your doubt is like dust lingering on the surfaces of your life. And so it mutes what you're available for. So she said that, and I heard that, and she said, and even with that, you know, this effort is still going to prosper. But I think what she was intimating is I was creating more struggle than necessary. And I think there's value in the law of attraction. I think there's some other complexities to it. I think we co-create, and there are lots of forces, along with our own will and desire. And also our collective. We exist as a part of a collectives. So our collective consciousness is also actively shaping experience, which might be distinct from our particular consciousness. So anyway, she said that to me. I heard it years later. Years earlier, in 2014, I did another spiritual reading. And right before my birthday, because it was 10 years since that reading. So this year I listened to that reading, and the woman in the reading said, hey, this thing is supposed to, this healing work, this spiritual work is supposed to be everywhere in the world. And there's so many who are doing it, and you are called to lean in even more fully in a bigger footprint. And you need to call forth what you need. Just call it forth. Call it forth. Call forth the people, call forth the teams, call forth everything that you need, and be explicit, and stop. Don't be afraid to talk about the fact that the spirit is at the center of this, Aaron. Don't be afraid, because that's what time it is. Like, that's this era, the time that we are in. Speak the truth. This is an evolutionary spiritual moment, and don't hide that is an impetus, a driver for how you are showing up. You don't have to hide that anymore, right? It can be your faith. It can be the first point of recognition for what your offer is in the world, what your contribution is in the world. And I was struck by that, but she just kept saying, take care of yourself. You're going to need to care for yourself well, and call forth what you need. And I remember saying to a friend of mine, oh, there's so much I want to do, but I don't know how. And he said to me, well, God is the how. Stop worrying about the how. And she was in essence saying the same thing. And so was the other reader, saying the same thing about call forth what you need, speaking into the truth of what Carolyn's note about being in alignment with God, being in alignment with love. And that alignment with love, rather than in an oppositional or confused orientation, puts us squarely in the flow. I'm not running against the current. I'm moving with the current. Right? So you can keep that there. It's fine. So I heard all these things. And yet, if you ask me, I would tell you much of the last 10 years of my life has been characterized by trying to make things happen on my own steam, my own effort, my own resource, my own intelligence, even though I'm a part of communities, but I've been over relying. It's like trying to do a great work with, one finger, and the rest of my fingers and the rest of my toes, I'm just not engaging. And I have a collaborative orientation, so I might be selling myself a little short here, but honestly, just the conditioned heroic individual effort model of being is insufficient, wholly insufficient for what we're trying to do, and is a myth, by the way. So it's also not factually correct. And it introduced in my life a whole lot more struggle than needs to be, and a whole lot more depletion than needs to be. But it was hard for me to believe that something greater was for me when there's so much around me that exists in hurt and devastation. So, belief trumps thought. So they're like, oh, think nice thoughts. Well, okay, but if my belief, what I'm believing, what I've invested heart energy in, that's a vibration. It's a stronger vibration than thought by itself. Mm-hmm. I promise to accelerate to wrap it up. So anywho, right before my birthday, the day before, I listened to this thing again where the lady's just like, just call forth, call forth, call forth. And this is a time of expansion and need, and we're growing. And I'm just like, oh, this is what we need. And the day of my birthday, I go to get a massage, and the massage lady, when she's done, says, oh my gosh, I wanted to tell you that I felt so much power when I was touching you. So much power, so much love. It was so strong, and it almost made me teary. And I was going to tell you, but I wanted you to have your experience. She ended up giving me double the amount of time. I was like, oh, thank you. And I had 3 sort of out of body experiences while I was on her table. Just felt myself expanding and moving. That hasn't happened to me in that context before. And then after that, I went to a bakery with friends, and the Black woman who works in the kitchen, and you can't see into the kitchen, but she worked back there, and this is in a white community. She comes out front and she strikes up a conversation with me and my friends. There are only other Black people there, and we talk and have really good conversation. And she wants to say more, but it's time for her to go back into the kitchen. And before she leaves, she walks up to me and she puts her finger in my face. And she says, the spirit won't let me go. I have to tell you that there's favor all over your life. You must know that there's favor on you. And she says, it's so strong, it's making me teary, so I need to go now. And I said, well, thank you so much for sharing what Spirit said for you to share and for doing that. Like, so honestly, like Spirit told me to tell you, I'm trying to get back in this kitchen, but I got to figure out a way. And she didn't know how I would take it. Right. And I was like, man, there must be something in the ether. And I woke up feeling really energized and singing God's praises all morning on my birthday. And Carolyn knows a little bit about this story. And the next day I was meeting with a foundation. They were interested in some of the stuff that we're doing. And I was so impassioned about what we're doing around healing and development and stuff. And they just said, well, what is it that you need? And no institution had ever asked me that before. What do you need? And I had a ready set of answers. And they said, well, we'll follow up with you in a couple of weeks, and left it at that. And I just kept energizing that what we needed would be, was there. This is a cosmic agenda. And they came back this week in a 30-minute conversation and said, look, we'd like to offer you operating support for the next 5 years. And at a substantial level. Substantial. And there's, it's no application. Just we'll follow up, a little paperwork. And we've been at this 14 years. 14 years ago, I started the Institute. And for at least 12 of those years, almost 13, it's all resourced by my business. And now as it grows and seeks to expand, there's more support. I offer that as testimony because I don't have to do this thing. First of all, I'm not doing this thing alone. But also my belief in my worthiness. And even when I don't believe in my own worthiness, I think part of what got out of the way for me is that I believed in the worthiness of what we are doing. I believed in the worth and the necessity in what we are doing. And I am needing to really examine and heal how much of my identity in this world is really tied to a sense of perennial struggle. Struggle and fight and harm. And so even in my ability to attract, it's like I'm an overcomer. And even that has part of its consciousness still rooted to struggle. And where I really seek to occupy is just be in that flow. And trust. I mean, trust. I think that's the edge for me. But I started trusting. I was like, hey, look, this thing is far bigger than my own resource, and far bigger than the resource of those who have also put their hands to the plow and said yes to this. We've been operating off of our own steam for a long time, and this thing wants to grow and expand. And while we are catalysts, it needs a different level. It belongs to the community, and it needs community support. And I believe that. It's not mine. It's not ours. It's the cosmic agenda for the emergence of healed realities, the rooting of healed realities in this dimension on this planet. And I don't have to struggle for that to be. It's not to say that there aren't struggles, but my identity doesn't have to somehow be bound with this sense of over againstness. Prevailing, sometimes subtle, sometimes obvious, over againstness. Because when that happens, I invest much more in my belief in the power of the over againstness than in the power of the cosmos to manifest that which is highest and best for me and the good of the whole in every moment, and to make creative use of all experiences, pleasant and unpleasant, in service to that which is highest and best for the good of the whole and for my precious life. So I'm gonna follow Ludacris's retort to move and get out the way. and keep saying more and more God, Mama.
More and more God.
More and more God. And thank you. Thank you. And I'm gonna go like bless some more things and people and trust. 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 And that's it. That's it, and that's all.
Oh, that's it. That's it. Woo, girl, I'm on fire here. I just wanted to shout. If I were in church right now, I'd be running around the church. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Praise God. I love it, and that's that alignment with God's will and the cosmos agenda, orchestrating our highest good. I love that testimony. And for 5 years, supporting and sustaining for 5 years. Oh, baby girl, I'm elated. I can't wait to go tell somebody. Said I wasn't gonna tell nobody, but I couldn't keep it to myself. No, I testified. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? What's manifesting? I remember when Carolyn and met her partner, and I'll never forget, we were sitting in Spirit Rise, and I tell the story frequently. And I'm just looking at Carolyn. And I said, Carolyn, what's going on in your life? And that's when she shared that she had met Mike. And look at them now. Manifestation. Come on, Carolyn, give us your testimony.
My heart is just so full, Rebecca, with Rebecca sharing.
Yeah.
And, the dams have burst, and we've all been part of that. And of course, Rebecca's been part of that in a unique, all-in way, giving so much of your life force and resource towards this. And I hear you speak, Rebecca, like of the profound love that has motivated you in devotion, and then also like maybe some shadow pieces of unworthiness that have not quickened the flow, right? And yet here it is. And there's so much gift in this for all of us. And like so much teaching about manifestation in this story. And I'm just taking that in as a medicine story. And one piece of the medicine I'm taking in is just like all of the ways people have been leaning in with their hearts to the dream of community healing and liberation that is Empower Institute. Like every way that people have been leaning in has been the opening the doorway of manifestation, has been the manifestation, right? And how powerful it is to give our hearts full yes to something, and our voice just our voice is yes to something, but then also to take the risks and the aligned actions. So, but that's on my heart. And one thing that my partner Michael teaches me is he just leads the ceremonies that have been given to him to lead. He just leads them regularly with devotion, and so much comes spontaneously out of that. So I guess I'm holding in my heart right now just a prayer to just keep showing up with my full passion and my full yes and fidelity, right? Because it's also the fidelity and the dailiness of it and the committed acts that help us to cooperate with the seeding of all these more beautiful dreams. And this is time. This is what all of our lives are about. It's happening through all of us at this time, right? And I think in my life lately, I can think about who I am now. I'm pretty in awe of who I am now. I'm no perfected being, but I'm sure I'm sure pleased with who I am. I'm sure enjoying who I am. I'm sure surprised by who I am. And I think about just the little ways, like in my 20s, that I would choose the path that aligned with what my soul said yes to, right? Just all the little ways that I would do that and just show up more and more authentically, daring to be who I am, even though I felt shame, I felt spiritual shame, right? But but continually just saying, no, this is what I see, this is what I feel, this is what I stand for. This is what's worth giving my life to. And I feel more and more just confidence just in that every step that feels like that is a fruitful step. And maybe and it's happening. I think that's the most important thing to say. Woohoo! It is happening. It is happening. Let us all just sing a song of praise, right? And it's not just the money coming in. The money is just a confirmation of how people have been stepping in, how hearts have been stepping in, right? And we're going to change this thing, and we are changing this thing. And all kinds of healing is happening between us, but it's also happening beyond us. So praise for this gathering, and Rebecca, for just sharing your journey of worthiness with us, right? That we don't have to define ourselves in a paradigm of struggle, even though struggle was given to us, that we can define ourselves by what is within us and between us, and our knowledge of the infinite resource of love. So I'm praising and I'm blessing up this abundance to touch the lives of so many, particularly those that have been most disenfranchised. Mm-hmm. I'm just in the prayer, and I'm in the prayer with each of your hearts. Like, I'm in the prayer that this abundance, that it fortifies Empower Institute so much, so that there's just great ease and joy in the making of the offerings. And I'm praying with each of you that this offerings of community healing and our Spirit Rising community, like, that we can be more available to those that have been most disenfranchised from places of true belonging, of places where their dignity is uplifted. So I'm opening my heart, and we're opening our hearts to be more receptive and more available, more faithful, and just more joyously availing ourselves to be the beloved community. And may this seed of possibility reach the places, the parched places that are most hungering for this vision. May it be.
May it be. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Radiant prayer. That's what I was thinking, Eileen. I was thinking I didn't even need to end with the prayer. And if it's okay, right, you are worthy. You are worthy. So Carolyn prayed this out. And so it is. Amen. And Ashe. And Desiree, will you play our final song? Thank you. Desiree? Or maybe we lost Desiree.
Mama, what's the final song?
What was it? Oh, I'm sorry, baby. The one by not Tony Jones, the other one. Do you see it? You don't see it? I'll find it.
Are you talking to me, Mama?
Desiree.
Oh, okay.
What was the question?
You asked me what was the final song.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Do you have it?
You wanted to do Worthy or I Am Worthy?
Let's do Worthy. That's a shorter one.
Okay.
By Madison Watkins.
Come.
I'm sorry, Desiree. I did put that in my notes.
Changing, now you know it's over. Saturday, I walk away, season changing, now you know it's over. You better know it's over. Say I couldn't make you understand it. I finally got my closure. Thank you for my closure. But did you really ever know me? 'Cause I thought that you would be the one to see I am worthy, hear me, look in my eyes. I am burning, turning, smoke into fire. No, I won't stop moving, can't compromise. I am worthy, I am worthy. You would define my purpose by what you're thinking, but now I'm thinking that it's time to realize that all that matters is that I know who I am, and now I know who I am. I am worthy, hear me, look in my eyes. I am burning, turning, smoke into fire. Can't compromise. I am worthy, I far. No, I won't stop moving. Can't compromise. I am worthy. I am worthy.
Daughters, let us open our hearts and our minds. Let us open wide as we invite true abundance into our lives. Blessings, blessings. Unmute yourself. Say goodbye. Until next week.
Thank you, Mama. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome, baby.
What a wonderful Sunday.
Thank you all so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Much love to everybody.
Get out there and enjoy
I
the.
am worthy. Who sings the
Yes.
song?
Oh, what's her name? Oh, Rebecca, I'll have to text it to you. Oh, her name is Catherine. Oh, here it is.
Madison Watkins.
Thank you.
Madison Watkins. Thank you, Desiree. I am
This was so
worthy.
beautiful.
Yes. I'm going to be
Thank
playing
you
this.
all.
You hear me as I